Thanks for watching Here to Stay TV. I'm Glenn Hausman coming at you from the floor of the Service Apartment Summit Americas here in New York City. And I'm with Scott Shatford, the founder and CEO of AirDNA. Man, you are doing something that nobody else is doing out there. Interesting. Where did the idea come from and what kind of information are you learning?
Yeah, I came up with the idea of gathering all the data on Airbnb as being an Airbnb host myself.
Right.
So I had 10 properties, and I realized that there was a huge gap in information in the marketplace. Nobody knew how well they were doing, how to price their properties, where to invest in new properties.
Right.
So I set out really to build a tool and gather the data to help myself originally, which then in turn I realized that everybody else wanted the data as well.
Pretty good. Almost like the accidental entrepreneur over there. So how do you take it from doing it yourself to now being the belle of the ball and being all over the world talking about this?
You know, it's interesting, right? I mean, it is, I have a good big background in kind of visualizing data to make it consumable by people. You know, data by itself is not very interesting.
Right.
But if you can make it where people can consume it, understand it, and figure out how to kind of make decisions based off of data and how to really understand the market better visually with information, then you can start to market it, right? But yeah, so that is the key, is to really make it consumable and easily understandable by new users.
So what are the big trends that you're discovering right now as we record this in April 2018?
Sure. I mean, the market is professionalizing really, really quickly. It used to be run by a lot of kind of mom and pops operating one Airbnb unit. But as those people become successsul, they realize, hey, this could be a real business. I could have 2 properties, or I could have 10 properties, and I could quit my job and do this professionally. So a lot of people have kind of emerged out of the weeds and the woodworks to really figure out how to be professionals in this space. And now they're operating probably 60% of the properties out there are managed by people with multiple properties these days.
How does that change the pricing dynamic when more professionals get in? Because my hunch, and I could be completely wrong, is when you have folks that are just doing it on their own, the one-off type people, they panic, they don't charge as much, they don't know what to do, and that sort of a thing.
Sure, yeah, people typically that are new are underpricing their properties. They're really happy with high occupancy. They don't realize when they're 100% occupied 6 months in advance, that's a bad thing.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing. And so there's still a lot of those players out there. But as people are becoming more professional, there's more tools like myself and some other dynamic pricing tools. People are starting to really understand supply and demand and how to price accordingly. So prices are generally on the rise. And Airbnb is trying to keep prices low because people like good deals and people will go back to where we're going to find the best deal.
Right.
And so there's kind of this conflict right now where every homeowner is trying to get as much and Airbnb is trying to keep it a cheap alternative to the hotel stay.
Right, and I think you've touched on something there. I spoke to a lot of people on the streets here in New York City over the last couple of days, just regular consumers. They all know Airbnb, and the one observation they all said is price. Price and the value they feel they're getting compared to traditional hotel stays. Really upending the market. Have you thought a little bit about how the dynamic between Airbnb and hotels is really changing everything?
Sure, I mean, I think the value is the key word there. People really want more square footage, they want a balcony, they want a kitchen, they want all the amenities that comes with the Airbnb. So price is pretty comparable between Airbnbs and hotels in most of the major markets, but what you're getting for that price is exceptionally better. Yeah. And so that's what we're seeing, is that hotels are trying to figure out now how to compete, right? How are they going to add a balcony? How are they going to do this all at the same price? It's really, really difficult to kind of create new inventory that can match up with what Airbnb offers.
Excellent. So how can people find you if they want to talk to you more about AirDNA?
Yeah, you just go to my website, airdna.co, or find us on most social media networks at the AirDNA.
Great. I love it. So for Scott Shatford and myself, Glenn Hausman, thanks for watching Here to Stay TV.